Hello, 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 everyone. It's Kim from K&RP here today. It's bright, it's sunny, it's brisk. In southern Manitoba, it's currently minus 21 Celsius with a minus 26 wind chill, and that in Fahrenheit is minus 5 Fahrenheit with a minus 15 wind chill. So winter is definitely back in full force. Even though it's nice and sunny, it's still kind of on the chill side. Today I want to do some stuff with paint chips. When I first started doing journals, I had a friend, well, I still have a friend, but I've got a friend who does some thrift shopping, and she asked, the kinds of things that she could look out for me, and I told her any kind of craft supplies. So she did find me some paint chips, and I'll get into that in a minute. But I want to mention what I was up to over the weekend, which is kind of funny because when I started up YouTube this morning, Ceri Griffiths was talking about where to harvest little numbers for doing tickets, that kind of thing. I was making tickets, but I didn't really have small tickets to make. I was working on tickets this size using the stamps that I had because I don't have small number stamps. So I'm just going to decorate these tickets bright and beautiful. I've stamped on them. I'll just work around them. That's not a problem. But I really would like to do some of those little tickets that are wonderful for covering up where you're transitioning pages, papers in your journals. So I came up with, why not, since you've got ledger paper, most of us have ledger paper in one form or another, actually writing some numbers in the columns as we would if we were actually working in the ledger. Cut them up, put them on your tickets, and perfect. Nice little numbers. But if you don't want to feel like writing all those little numbers, why not take a Sudoku page? I love Sudokus. We've got beautiful, they've got numbers for the games. So what I was doing was I was taking the combinations of numbers like 2, 3, 8. I cut them out. I took a red marker. Let's take a red marker. And I didn't leave it out because of why. Anyway, where's the red? Okay, I'll take a blue marker because people have blue markers, whatever color mark you've got. Tickets come in different colors. I cut them out, put a blue line, red line around them, and it looks like a little label all in itself. So the fun thing is you can take numbers that are going across, or you could take the combination that's going down, like the 649 here. This will give you lots of wonderful combinations out of one of these Sudoku books. You can pick them up anywhere. Your grocery store, Dollarama, other dollar stores. And if you don't like doing Sudokus, that's fine. If you do like doing them, maybe you've got 1 or 2 pages you don't mind sacrificing. Anyway, that's just another little place to find some numbers if you don't have other things to do. You might be wondering about this big quote I wrote on my work surface. A dear friend had sent me this quote this morning, and it really, really hit home with me. The world always seems brighter when you've just made something that wasn't there before. And it's by Neil Gaiman, who is one of our favorite authors. My daughters and I really, really like his writings. So that's the lowdown of what's been happening over the weekend. A little bit of fun stuff I got, and let's go on to paint chips. As I was saying, my girlfriend, who is an incredible thrifter, found me, an entire kit from I guess it was an interior designer. So not only did I get these, and they all came on these fabulous clips. I removed them from the clips because the clips were taking up too much room. And if I wanted one that was in the middle for a certain color, but I've had these for a very, very long time. Since I first started doing journals, I've used them for tags. I've used them, cut them up in backgrounds. I've done other things with them like everybody does, punch stuff out, etc. But I've got so many left. I was thinking what I'd like to do is a little glue book or something along those lines, like a little journal, and using one of these as a page. These are by Deluxe, this entire set. I have long ones as well. It's, the kind that you could use as bookmarks. And then in the kit were tucked these, and they were from 2012. So that just shows the colors from 2012. These are Benjamin Moore. These are really much thinner than these ones. Whoop, that's an... And these ones came with these cover things. These clearish cover things. Wonderful. But these paint chips are much thicker than these ones. So these ones, I'd say, very lightweight. Why can I never remember that? The thicker paper, not poster board. Cardstock. There we go. A very thin cardstock. Really nice finish. These are much thinner and plasticized. So I thought maybe I would just use this as the book. But because this is so tightly glued, I had to take it apart. Because once you've got stuff glued on it, it would be too thick and whatever. So I took this one apart. It's got a screw on one end. And then just a flat edge on that. So I just took a pair of pliers, held this down, took a screwdriver to it, and took out this many. I have no idea how many that is. But I thought that what I'd do is just take this right off. And the reason I want to use these ones, even though they're plasticized, well, I'm not sure. But I do like this fastener more than this because these are really bulky. Anyway, so because these are plasticized, I thought, well, you better test the glues on them because, you need something that sticks to this glue. So I tested on the colored side with liquid glue and with the dreaded glue stick. We all know how much I love it. The glue stick stuck. Wow. On this side, but this is old music paper. But the liquid glue didn't stick worth a tinker's darn. Glue stick, on the other hand, nice. This side, I used construction paper on because we know I've been putzing with my construction paper. The liquid glue did stick, and so did the glue stick. So obviously I'll be able to use my liquid glue on this side, but if I do the colored side of these Benjamin Moore, I definitely have to use the glue stick. So what's something different that we can do with multitudes of these? They're lovely. They're solid. They're colorful. Let me just show you what I've been doing, or I have done in the past. We'll just get this out of the way. On one of the previous videos I showed how I do these are those deluxe tags. I'll just grab one. There are a few. So the deluxe ones, the deluxe paint chips, have, let's get into camera here, a long piece, and then it's got a piece that you can tear off, but it makes a nice fold. So what I did was I just took various colors, put a fold, folded it down, put a small piece of gel print scrap over it, decorated it. There you have it. I did put the papers down with a staple. I stapled right through to hold them in place. Just using a regular big old stapler because, it's a little bit thicker. I wanted to make sure it held. That's why I used the gel print all the way around, because I didn't want the staple sticking out. And then I did a mass make with these kinds. You can tell because I've used all the same flowers, all the same pages. There are 12 pages in each book. All the same leaves and green glitter glue. These ones I just kind of played along with and just did some. Can you close the door, please? Sorry, somebody at the door. So I just played, doing my florals, bit of gel print, using the deluxe tags. So that's one way to use up these tags. Of course, we use them as punch outs. If you have punches, you can definitely punch out a bunch of things. I do have the dots from this. I'm not going to pull them out right now. You know that I'm going to use them as flower centers or some other thing. But these are wonderful. I like using these for when I do altered book paper clips. I use them in journals as writing spaces, various things. They're nice, they're smooth. They would also make great backs for paper earrings. You don't need to decorate them. You punch out your gel print, decorate it, glue them together, put the hole in it, and I'm sure they would make fantastic earrings. But, it just gives you a little bit of variety. You will have to find a glue that works with the paint chips that you find and get. I'm wondering, though, if these ones are made a little bit more durable, because if you're an interior designer, you're going places and they want these things to last. Hi, Anne. How are ya? I'm just doing a blurb about paint chips. I don't know if you caught the beginning. I have a friend who does a lot of thrifting. And when I was first starting journaling, and I said that I was using paint chips, she found me an entire set of paint chips. And the book, they were all together. And I've been figuring out ways to use them up. I've had them forever. It's gonna, it's one of those let's use them up things. I went over these little. It's a wonderful treasure. They're wonderful, and they're all solid colors. This one I've smudged glue on, but they're all solid colors. So, I will wash that. Anyway, because they fold, these ones, that's how I did these little mini notepads. We talked about these one day. So that's that. I also do these kinds of notepads with them. They're like a little matchbook, but these are altered paper clips. So if you open it up, It's like a little matchbook, but it's got, your little writing papers in it, and you can clip it onto a page. So again, it's one of these deluxe ones. Deluxe? Is it deluxe? Deluxe? So I folded up the edge. I folded the top one down probably halfway. So you can obviously leave them like this, or you can decorate them. The reason I decorate them is because you have to do some stapling, right? Like for this, you need to staple it. I'm going to do it so that the staples face in. You need to staple it a little bit in because you want that bottom not to be popping open all the time. You need it to hold the paper, the tops and the pages in. So then when you've got pages to put in, let me just grab some pages. And that size, let's fold it in half. Cut them. Yeah, I'm not measuring. So then when you're putting the pages in, you need to staple that down too. So yes, I would, if I was, this is just a throw it together, showing you what I'm doing kind of thing. So then you would staple it. Again, I'm going to staple it this way because I want the edges in. I don't want anybody to get caught on, how sometimes you get those lifty edges on the staples. Oh. So you staple it and fold it down. Now you've got like a little matchbook of pages. So then what I do is I take a length of course I don't have one here. I'll use music sheet. And I put some glue on it. Let's just do it. Let's just find a sheet and do it. I need a long sheet. I have a piece of copy paper. Maybe it's construction paper. It's got that texture. So again, I don't really measure for this. I'll just trim off the edge. So I was showing that with this stuff, because it's a little plasticized, I have to use the glue stick. My favorite thing. So then I just glue one edge down, one edge, and I tuck it in. As far as I can. Press it down. Put some glue on this edge, this whole piece here, over the staple. Fold it over to glue down. And that just kind of protects. And like I said, I prefer using gel prints. I'm just doing this as a demonstration. But it does protect from the staple. Of course, you can decorate that, a bit of lace or something on it. This entire side. And again, up and over. Press it down. These are really fast and simple. That's why I don't mind bulk making these. On here. Glue it over. And then press it down just a little bit. This is one I did just out of, I'm just going to put the stapler on that for a minute to hold it in place. This is one I did just using gel paper, gel print with little bit of lined paper inside, but I did it the same way. Little bit of fun decoration on it. Again, it's an altered paper clip. Really cute on a page. Are those sequins blinding? So then, once it's glued down, I just trim it all off. You can see where the edge of the paint chip is. I use my paint chips like this because I have so many of them. If you actually go out and have to pick up paint chips, maybe you don't want to do this with them. That's fine. You don't have to do that. You can do this with any kind of paper. I'm using paint chips because I have paint chips and I have to use them up. So there, I've got it so that, you can tuck it in. Lovely little notebook. Again, like I say, decorate it. On the back, I'm not quite as worried because when you put the paper clip on, you take it and put the pages up. I just used construction paper because that's what I had sitting here. I like to put the small side in, and I put it about there-ish. So I'd say a third of the way down. Let's glue some paper on top of it. Let's measure it first. I'm just going to take a bit off the edge, and I'm just going to take a piece like this. So then I'm just going to glue it. Made a mess of that. As I say, demonstration purposes, I probably will end up decorating it and using it. And you just put that over the paper clip to keep it in, as you would any other decorated paper clip. How cute and simple is that? Of course, you can put any papers you like inside. If you wanted to do it all with tea-dyed paper, whatever, just remember that when you're doing it, have it so that your paper clip isn't spread, so that you don't really have to close it with a pair of pliers. Although, if you have to, that's what you have to do. So there you have it. That's another thing that I do with my paint chips. So we've got punch outs. We've got two different kind of little notepad holders. Like I say, especially with the paint chips, I'm not one for pastel colors, browns, beiges, that kind of thing. I know many people like it. It's not my style. I like lots of color, lots and lots of color. So that's three things that we do with paper clips. Now that's on my mind. Paint chips. So then you can also cut stencils out of them. And the nice thing is you can use this 3 or 4 times. Vintage mat books. Sure, you could create those little notebooks. You just take any sort of paper and like I say, this one, where is it? Is just gel print paper. So you just make sure that you fold this, a couple of times so it's got a bit of stability to it. Put a bit of a staple in it just so that it's not opening up like this opens up, right? And then you staple in. This one I stapled on the top. You can't really see the staple for the decoration. glue a paper clip back cover. They're wonderful to copy. Are you thinking of maybe the pictures and stuff that are on them? They would make wonderful little notebooks. But they're simple enough to make. So, because they've got such a nice plasticky texture to them, you can make little stencils out of them. I like little stencils because I make a lot of little things, and I like to be able to just put some stuff in the corners. So this one actually I would use as a stencil because I could do, let's just show. You've got the holes punched out of them, any other little stencil, right? I've got some paint on here because I was stamping this weekend. But I think, we all like having something in the corners, just as something different. But these paint chips work great for that as well because it's a plastic and it's thin. Wonderful, fast little stencils. To do this kind of thing, all you need is an X-Acto knife, a blade. You have to be a little bit careful. If you want to do straight lines, by all means use a ruler. Go slow. But again, because they're thin, they don't take much pressure. They cut really nicely. You don't have to have much of your blade out at all. Right. Photocopy onto cardstock. Oh, that would be lovely. I wonder if I've got any old matchbooks. My mom and dad used to travel a lot. They had a lot of matchbooks. I think that we probably just used them all because we smoked at the time. But again, you can do a variety of little stencils. These obviously didn't cost overly much. Doesn't matter how often I use them. Can also use the negative space because if it's on the solid color, it would give you a really nice texture over something. But these are very, very easy to cut. I'm sure you could, fold them, use scissors, lay them out. Don't know that you would get the bends out of them nicely, but again, just trying to use up things that I've got kicking around. As I say, these ones, very simple. I just folded over the top, did a bit of decoration on them. But they're fun. Like, you tuck them into pockets in the journals. You could put them in kids' stockings. I was thinking maybe because I've got so many of them, I might do something, like a Halloween theme and give them out with the candy at Halloween. What do you use your paint chips for, Anne? That one's crooked. Let me just straighten that, which is fine. Pretty forgiving. Pretty forgiving. Had a busy morning this morning. It's cold out. We've had snow. I didn't do anything with the snow. The husband was out snow blowing and shoveling, etc. I stayed in and made bread. Had the grandsons, or two of my grandsons, here this weekend. Actually, all three. But two of them wanted to spend the night, Sunday night. So I went through bread, had to, replenish. Banners, cards, tags. Yeah, well, they're just like paper, right? Like you can use them for anything. It's just that they've got a really, really nice finish. When you do your banners, and do you actually string them, or are they glued down to a page? I guess I could cut a bunch of banners as well. Something different. I don't think I've ever done banners. Out of all the stuff I've done, I don't think I've done banners. I do have a cutting mat under this, in case anybody was wondering. You're attached to a string or ribbon? Okay. Maybe I'll have to try that. Do you decorate the banner pieces? Do you leave them? Do you stamp them or anything? I have to admit, I love altered paper clips. I could keep on making altered paper clips till the cows came home. But I think I'm going to cut a bunch of stencil-y kind of things. I've got all those big journal cards I'd like to decorate. And as much as I like doing like the stamping with those linoleum stamps I made, cutting the linoleum's a lot harder than cutting little bits of paper for a stencil. Okay. You're talking like big banners, not the ones that hang in journals? Actually, that'd be kind of cute to hang a little banner thing on this. I guess these are too big. But I could, do three little. Might as well bling them up fun. Did you have a good weekend, Dan? I had family here Friday evening, Saturday, and then Sunday, Monday. It was a long weekend here. So the boys asked if they could spend the night, and it's sure you can. It's worthwhile cooking when I've got teenage boys in the house. I don't know how to cook small. I don't know how to cook small. And it is very strange because my mom didn't like to cook. She didn't cook much. I have no idea where this comes from. But when my husband and I first got together, we were the only ones that had our own place. So all our other teenage friends would end up at our place. And I started cooking large amounts because I never knew how many people I was expecting. And then as my girls got older, and they were bringing, male friends home, I realized I had to start cooking more because really they can pack it away. That's kind of cute. Let's see what that does. Let's see. Think that'll be too much black on there? You know what? There's so much going on this one. I think I want the black, straight black. Yeah, it's wild because they're teenagers and they actually phone and ask if they can spend the night. They get fed well. They get to watch whatever they want on the tube, play video games, be out in the shop, be down here with me. They don't really like crafting as much. They don't mind going out and working in the shop with the wood and stuff. When we had an order for a lot of those little thread holders for the quilting. We had an order for 36 of them, so those boys were out in the shop running power tools and cutting and putting it together. And have to admit, they're busy and they like to be involved. The younger one actually made cinnamon buns at his place the other day. He had a hankering for cinnamon buns, so he made them. He is 12, 13, 13, I guess. He just turned 13 in November. Oh, that's a fun one. I got a little carried away with the paint. It went under here, but I think that's because this card is bent. So definitely fun for stencils, and I'm sure that I will be able to use this stencil a multitude of times. Yeah, I like doing things with them. Have to admit, this weekend they just sat and played video games and watched videos, but that's fine too. And ate. They ate well. I'm one of those grandmothers that, because I used to have a restaurant, I don't mind cooking restaurant style. So I've got one that doesn't like spicy food and one that likes spicy food. So I catered to what they like to eat. And then, breakfast time. One of them likes surprise cereal. The other one eats healthier. So he had Raisin Bran, but the surprise cereal had chocolate chips and butterscotch chips and Score Bar bits mixed in with the cereals. They never know marshmallows. Yeah, they never know what they're going to get in the surprise cereal. But it's fun, I love having them here. They don't mind going out and raking if we need a hand raking or shoveling or whatever we need to do. It's nice to have kids that want to be interested too, right? That not all kids want to go out and work in the shop. Yeah, I started that with my older grandkids. Um, I don't know. I don't know how that came about, but all of a sudden it's like, I'm going to make surprise cereal. So I'd put in, and I'm not saying I put in a handful of chocolate chips. I do like a pinch. So maybe there's 10 chocolate chips in there, and they would go in the bottom of the bowl. Then a little bit of Cheerios, and then maybe some gummy bears, and then maybe some Rice Krispies, and then maybe some dried apricots, and then Cheerios again, or cornflakes, whatever cereals I have on hand. Every single one goes into the bowl. So there might only be like 2 or 3 pieces of mini wheats if that's what I've got, but it's fun. And dried fruit, like I say, gummy bears. I've put in things like M&Ms. They lose their color though, so they weren't a big hit. But yeah, they like the surprise cereal. And of course, they don't get to add sugar because there's enough stinking sugar in it. But I just kind of figure that, when you've got like 10 chocolate chips, 10 butterscotch chips, it's not quite that bad. So they do ask for surprise cereal. So, yes, this is what I do with. I will definitely be using these for stencils. They will not be used as tags or cards in my journals because the colors are nasty. When I do tags, this would be the up. So then I would take, I've got a, somewhere I have a, oh, I guess I don't. It's here someplace. I have no clue where. But I take like a gift card of some sort and I chop off a corner. I have to have one. Yes, I do. So I chop off corners to, so that you've got the same size tag on both sides. We'll do it on this side. I'll take a bigger corner off because it's a bigger piece. And just, do the cheats. I find that doing this too also works really good when you're doing tickets. I was trying the hole punch method. People use the hole punches, and that way you've got equal sides, right? For tags. But I keep ending up with these double ugly, goofy things. So I found that when you fold it up, let's take a blank piece and yay, I'm using stuff up. Even if it is for demonstration purposes, I'll just do it this way. So I'm just folding it in 4. Actually, you know what? I'm going to fold it this way because then I can have a bunch of long little tickets. And then you take the corner. I'm going to use this little corner that I have cut. And then you cut all 4 corners. Yeah, they only get surprise cereal when they sleep over. And if they're sleeping over more than one night in a row, they don't get it every single morning. I mean, I could, but I also don't want to burden parents with dental bills either. They do get treats when they're here, though. It's what grandmas are for. So then I just cut off the corners because I have a very hard time doing. So then I have a nice little row of tickets to decorate. All right. Any questions about any of these things I have done? I still think I might make earrings out of these. Yeah, grandmas are allowed to spoil the kids a bit. My paternal grandparents died. Well, my grandmother died when I was about 8. So I don't really remember her. And she wasn't really a big spoiler. She didn't speak English very much. She spoke Ukrainian. And I never did learn because it was my dad's mom and we weren't over there that often. My grandfather on that side wasn't really a spoiler either, but if he was over, he would take us to the store for gum or that kind of thing. And then my other grandparents, my maternal grandparents, lived in England, so I didn't really see them very much. um, sorry, just talking to Paula. She just messaged and asked if I was streaming today. This way, this way. Yeah. So I didn't really get to know my grandparents very much. So I try to be the grandparents that my friends had, you know, curl up on the lap and read kind of thing. Bit more involved than, I don't know if because my mom was British, when her parents were here, it still wasn't the same. It really wasn't the same. Okay, so even though I've got that tag shaped, I'm going to take my knife and cut some more stencil-y kind of things. Do you have grandkids, Anne? I say grandkids are your presents for living through teenage years. They're the prize. I've had this shape. I don't know where it's from, what it means. I've had various explanations from different teachers, that kind, my Aboriginal teachers and things. Some say it's the Celtic sign for wisdom. Some say it is a native sign for feathers. I don't know what, but I've really been drawn to this weird. Hey, Paula, all's good. I was just going through what I do with paint chips because I have a whack load. Oh, nice. I only have 4. But that's okay. They're wonderful. What I was doing with my paint chips, because I have so many of them, I have to start using them up. So I'm going to make some more altered paper clips like this. So it's like a little matchbooks. So it's got like little, pages in it. But that was a paint chip. I covered it in gel print because it was an ugly color. I have a problem with ugly colors like this. I like this much better. This is another one like that. I'm just showing it because I've decorated it. But this is done just on a gel print. It's the same kind of thing. Just a little notebook kind of thing. And then, of course, everybody punches out things from it. So, I punch stuff out. And then I use these as stencils. So I'm cutting some stencils. I did this one yesterday. Then I used this corner for that corner. And then I just did this one while Paula and I were chatting and did it. And then these ones also are paint chips. Because the paint chips have a little fold thing on, you'd like to see me do a stream of me altering paper clips? I would love. Maybe I'll do that Friday, Frugal Friday, or Useday. Maybe my Useday Crafternoon. Maybe next Tuesday. So these ones are just because they fold down. I put paper in, put a staple on, and then I take gel print and go around just to hide the staple. and then decorate a little bit at the top. And they're wonderful for tucking in cards or journals, or I'll put that down for next Tuesday. Altered paper clips. There we go. I love decorating paper clips. I don't think you could ever have too many paper clips. Or little stencils. So, I'm just trying to use things up. And Friday, because I've reached 100 viewers, on Friday, I am going to do a giveaway of an envelope full of Kimbits. So I consider these kinds of things as Kimbits, these as Kimbits, anything I make. You love the colored ones? Yeah. I don't do beige or white well. It just... But then too, like I was saying to Anne, you could cut these out, glue them down on a card. Where's a card? Grab a card. Glue it down on the card, and then you've got a lovely texture in the card too, right? Like, what are you losing by using a paint chip as a layer for texture? These, you could also do, let's take another one. Do an edge, just a wavy edge, right? We'll do a scribble with a knife, a wobble cut with a knife, right? So then you've got this edge. You can use it for tearing really thin paper. Like if you don't have one of those edging rulers, you could use it for tearing really thin paper. You could put it down, and remember when we were younger, and let's put a different paper down. Grab a paper. Put a paper down, and you know how we would go over the edge like this? Just back and forth over the edge. So you could use it for that kind of thing. You could use it to cut. This one's doubled. Use it as a template to cut thin strips of the same thing. I'm just going to pull this blade in just a little bit. Yeah, I'm tired of tags and ATCs too. Like I cut this one as a tag. I've done so many tags with these because, Paula, I'll show you. I have a girlfriend that thrifts, and she found an entire kit from an interior designer, and she brought me, I can't even get it all into the screen. These are all paint chips. So I'm going to, as I said earlier in the stream, I've got this kind of a clip that it came on and another kind of a clip that it came on. I'm going to have a bunch of these on my desk. That's kind of what I thought when I saw them, but it was more like, oh, look, I've got toys, because I had just started journaling at the time. So these do come apart. They don't rip off because these ones are really plasticized, but they've got such a nice shape. They're nicely rounded. The corners are rounded and everything. I was thinking that if I had some just sitting on my desk, whenever I've been playing, I'll take the leftovers of what I was doing and start gluing them down on these things and making glue stick, glue book. Yeah, that too. I know. I have lots of tags. I love making tags. I love doing the little fiddly, pretty stuff, right? Like, I just love little fun stuff. Like these are all altered paper clips. You know, I just like the little fiddly fun things. These are a different kind of paper clip where it goes between the two pieces of paper. I've got lots of those. In fact, I did that with one of Izzy's drawings. You know, when he sent those things out, there was that challenge that P put out. We all got certain things to use. And then I've got these kinds of paper clips where you wrap around. I like the fiddly stuff. So I like doing the tags. I like doing the best paint chips you've ever seen. Yeah. Alternative tags. I don't know. And then, you know, I've got these little itty bitty minuscule paper clips. So, like, I have stuff to use, ladies. I just have lots of stuff to use. So as I was saying about this, if you've got some sort of an edge, if you don't have a tearing ruler with this kind of an edge, these will tear. They're thin enough. You don't get a nice tear though. It's going to be a rough edge tear, which is fine, but it's still got the pattern to it. So you could have a whole set of these kinds of things. Or you could use this as a template to cut beside. No, double paper, press harder. So then you can have like rows of almost like lines in a book. If you cut enough of these and you lined a page with your wobble cut stuff, you know, like how fun are those to put down on a page? An online exhibit, that could be fun. Everybody's got such interesting ideas. It's kind of funny because when I started up YouTube this morning, I mentioned it earlier, like when I first came on the chat, I had been making tags this weekend. And I don't have small, waves for your ocean theme. Do you know what works really good? Where is it? Where is it? I have to find it. Oh, no. It was one of the ones that I did. Oh, I can't find it. I must have used it for something. But what I like, okay, you got me going at 200 miles an hour for other things. I came on YouTube this morning and Ceri had just done one on finding little numbers for doing labels and things. And while I was stamping huge numbers and letters, because I don't have little ones on these tags, I thought, why not use Sudoku pages? Because you can get multiples like 26, 238, you know, so I'm using Sudoku pages for numbers. For makers in place of a challenge. That could be fun. Ocean theme, yes. So, what I like doing for that kind of thing is, I should have a magazine page. Let me grab a magazine page. Okay. Magazine page. Me and my wobble cuts, right? I like using text. And the text goes this way. I'm going to cut it this way. Oh, that's a nice number. I'm going to cut that number off. And we don't need that. So I will wobble cut. And I'll wobble cut. Oh, straight cut, wobble cut. Do it backward. Don't do it backwards. So then I take these wobble cuts and I edge. Let's grab a marker. I'll show you. Yeah, challenge. Some of it's a bit intimidating. My thing right now is I have so many things that I want to be doing and using up, and I just, as much as I love the challenges, and I've been playing with Create with Becca Monday mornings, her prompts, like those kinds of things. I just kind of need to do my own thing. I've got so many ideas. So then I take them and I overlap the text and I glue them down so that they look like waves. But I'll do an entire page of this. And because it's gone over the text this way, play along, yeah. Oh, I've done it on my channel too, where you have prompts, and I've got prompt cards, I've got lists of prompts. So what I do is I've got 10 prompts on a card and I roll the dice, and that's a 3. So I start at 3. So then I have to edge the paper, and then we use pencil on it, and then spirals, and then red, depending on what the prompts are. And you go through them. And on Create with Becca, she does it in her art journal, and she does 10 prompts. She's got sticks that she pulls. Somebody gives her a color, and she's got colored sticks, and each one has a different prompt on. Very many people have play along prompt things. So I've done taken like 5 ATCs and played along with Becca with her prompts and did the ATCs along with the prompts. Just various things like that. Yeah, but I like this. And I'll do that on an ATC or a journal card. It's something different, and it's using stuff, right? It's using stuff. And no two are the same. And sometimes, yeah, they get really close to each other, but that's okay. And if you were doing waves, then maybe use like a blue marker along them. I like the fact that yeah, not sure, or they come in with things that they like to do. There was that lady who was doing the pores. I loved her pores. I used to do pores too, but it's a lot of paint. You get a lot of wastage when it drips over. Yeah, I was using the skins for various things, but to store them, you have to have them. Otherwise, they separately, because otherwise they pack together and they stick, and yeah, it leaves a big lump of interesting texture. But and then we've got people now who are doing a lot of stitching in their work. That it's not all just with the gels anymore, like the gel prints. I love gel printing. I could spend all day gel printing, but then I've got stacks gel prints and I have to use them. I've got a bazillion other things that I have to use as well, like the napkins and the construction paper and the gel prints and magazine cutouts and punches and paint tags. And I think that we have to embrace it all. There's a fellow that I follow on Mad About Mixed Media Mad, something like that. And his name is David Tuttle. His wife does fabric art, he does metal art, and they're starting to combine their things. They also use a lot of like the polymer clays for beads and various things, and they make the most wonderful sculptures. I don't like words on stuff either. Oh, yeah, that's exactly the way I am too, Paula. They're wonderful. I'm not into digital stuff. I appreciate the fact, though, that if you're doing a journal, that it's nice to have things that are ready to go. So that's where the digitals come in handy. My journals take me hours and hours and hours because everything is hand done. And I don't charge for my time, obviously, and I give them away. But I can't, I wouldn't be able to get the money that they're worth for my hours. Paula is wonderful in makers and all her comments. It really boosts people. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of words on stuff. Sometimes I'll stick a word on. Like this one, I was having a lot of fun. I don't know if you can see him. I was just playing around, using stuff up. That's true, Paula. Celebrate even the most little things. Very true. So where was that when I was cutting? This one. Thank you. Seriously, you're playing and then you just get carried away. Oh, let's add this. Oh, let's try that. Oh, that's how I do things. I have a very hard time sticking with one, like I say, I love gel printing. I could gel print every day, but what am I going to do with it? I mean, what am I going to do with all this other stuff too? I get that, but like this kind of thing, it gives me pleasure. It relaxes me. I get to create my way, um, and it's cheap. Like seriously, I love all the stencils and everything. I can't afford them. The shipping to Canada would be a bugger. Oh, definitely, Paula. One thing I detested was when the parents would tell their kids, no, that's not how you do it, and take over for them. I taught so many kids classes, and you would just see the child sit back, kind of heartbroken, and not want to participate. And, I had to be very gentle but firm with the parents. This is how they learn. Please let them do it their way. Oh, no. Still convenient, more convenient. You know, Some days we can relate to that, I'm sure. But that's funny. Right on. Oh, kids and reading, definitely. Definitely. My kids were reading before they went to school. Like I am a reader, and my kids were reading quite intense books at a young age. In fact, I had one of my daughters, her grade 4 teacher, told me that what my daughter was reading was inappropriate and she didn't want to bring it to school anymore. So my daughter stopped reading for a while. And so you can bet that I went up one side of that teacher and down the other. But they'll read when they're ready. You know, it comes in time. It really, really comes in time. You celebrate the absolute, you know, what's normal to us and not necessarily normal to them is, you got to celebrate it all. Yeah, I love seeing your photos too. That one, doing the painting and the purple paint all over the table and hands. I can so relate to that. So relate to that. Yeah. No, I mean, exactly. That's why do they try and stifle that in kids? The creativity, the reading. First, daughter in kindergarten, a few days in, she colors the school bus black. And the teacher and the kids are going, no, school buses are supposed to be orange. And it's like, school buses could be damn well whatever color you want to paint them, color them, whatever, right? Like, why are you telling my kids that it wasn't right just because it wasn't orange? I don't know. I just, I understand they've got curriculum that they need to follow, but really, it's, it just puts a thing in the kid's head like, well, why can't I? And, oh, I'm not supposed to. It puts limitations on their learning. I put my kids in French immersion. Hi, Pam. Yeah, that makes me crazy too, unless it's during art. I'm sure he had a hard time learning. I've got friends with that too. Absolutely heartbreaking. Absolutely. Lurking's fun. I like to lurk and work. Those Pamerals are cute. It is autumn. Definitely. You're welcome, Pam. Is that for one of your own, or do you sell the Barbie clothes? Oh, wow. It's been on an hour and 15. You guys just make me go and go and go like an Energizer bunny. I know. Very bizarre. Very bizarre. I mean, granted, the books that my daughter were reading in grade 4 were the Clan of the Cave Bear series, but she didn't understand everything she read, but she enjoyed the story. Oh, nice. Very nice. That's very nice of you. Yeah, I don't. One of my daughter's teachers explained it to me that nice, very nice, Pam. That when kids are reading over and above their level, it makes the other kids jealous. But in my older daughter's case, it actually made the kids want to read more. So I was volunteering at the school doing reading and stuff with the kids. And well, yeah, that's exactly like Clan of the Cave Bear, right? The rape scenes went right over her head. Ah, see, home economics, we had to take that in school. And I was laughing because I failed it. And then I taught cooking, and I've had a restaurant, and I've done catering, and, I just laugh. No, the home economics at our school was, and typing, home economics. Oh, look, mucky fingers. Home economics and typing, and it was more set up for the girls. Yeah. So, with the home economics supposed to be for the dim girls, what about like the middle class people who go home and cook too? Yeah, so an apron. What was that with the aprons? I still don't use aprons. I think I rebelled right at the word go. We never did beans on toast. We actually did cook things and bake things. And to this day, we eat beans on toast here. I love beans on toast. Must be from the British mom. But art. So art was for dim girls. That's interesting. That's really interesting. Really interesting. So did they expect that you were going to find rich husbands and stuff? Oh, that's cool, Anne. That's very cool. I didn't take sewing in high school. I took it through the middle school years, 7, 8, 9. So that was an apron, shirt, and a tote bag kind of thing, duffel bag kind of thing. So 7, 8, and 9. And in grade 10, I had the option of taking auto It was the first year auto was presented, the automotive for girls, and I was the only girl in the class. But I mean, I know how to change my oil if I have to. I could work on a carburetor, but now, yeah. That's nice, Paula. Right, Pam? Like, really, if you get stuck at the side of the road, you know how to change your own tire. You know how to check your oil. You could put windshield antifreeze, in. I think it's important for women to know how to do these things. You go to a garage, and so many of the mechanics, especially when I was growing up, would kind of look at a woman and try and take her, for a bazillion dollars because evidently she didn't know better, especially if she was single. So anyway, I loved taking auto. Yep, exactly. Oh, another alternative Kimbit. All right. Um, with a paint chip or something different? I guess it's paint chips, right? I'm doing paint chips today. So I've done stencils, I've done the punches. How about if we turn these into earrings? Let's use those to make earrings. All right. So these are 1-inch punches. And I've got them stacked together so that I can put the holes at the same place. And I am using this itty bitty punch. It is a what? I have no clue. It's made in China. And I got it at Michael's. And it's just puts the littlest hole in. Okay, so now I've got holes. So I could use jump wire. I could use, you know what? I don't have any other jewelry stuff here. I have to go and dig it out. So I'm just going to make dangly things. I have bulb pins. So my favorite are the copper colored ones. I do have silver. And I've got brass colored ones. I like the copper ones. So let's make these into something a little bit pretty. They're green, so let's take just a little bit of green paint. Because this is stuff that's on my desk. A little bit of green paint. And I am going to take a piece of, what have I got handy? What have I got handy? I have a plastic bag handy. So I have a plastic bag that's handy. I would like to get one of those eventually. And I'm going to come pull up this here plastic bag because I can. And I'm going to dip it in the paint. And I'm going to go like that and like that. And that's going to give it a nice texture. Now I've got a painted plastic bag. I'm going to put that aside to dry because I will still use that for putting bits in. And of course I'm using paint. We never did that. I've never done that. Never ever done that. Of course, the paint's watered down, so it's even longer to dry. They were talking about some sort of, I think it was in England. They were making crisp packet blankets for homeless people. Somebody posted that. Oh no, that was in Crafting Mamas. And of course, it was UK. I think maybe your chip bags are made out of, we call them chips here, not crisps, are made out of something different than. Okay, so I have that. Now, kind of like these little waves that I've got here. Just cut a couple of these waves out because I can. And I'm going to take a piece of ooh, green yarn. Throwback Thursday, reintroducing old ways of creating. That could be fun. Talking like macrame and tatting and embroidery. What are you looking at? I'm just taking 2 little bits off because I have an entire ball of this stuff, but I just have this in my junk bag beside my desk for using. And what do I use? Half an inch of it. 2 half inches, so a whole inch because I'm doing 2 charms. Oh, I'm stuttering. Is it better? Pulling the yarn apart. Am I still stuttering? Am I lumpy? Liquid glue, of course. I'm going to put a dot here and a dot there. And I'm going to go across this. You know what? That's mucky. All better. Yay! So I pulled that yarn apart and I'm going to just stick it a couple of ends in. I have a toothpick or something someplace. Here we go. Way over to the side. I'm going to stick the ends of the yarn in the glue. We have a fiber optics company working on our street, putting in fiber optics. So they're drilling and they're drilling horizontally, like across, down and across. And they have started at 7:30 yesterday morning. And so we've got this constant hum and stuff of this drill going on. It's really annoying. So I didn't like that liquid glue. It's just way thick. I'm going to use this ugly glue because I can. And I'm going to put that across the end of this. And across the end of that. Paint chips, using paint chips. That's what the base is, paint chip. Then I'm going to take, I think I just like the one line because I don't think I'll fit 3 on there. Where's my lid? It's my lid. And I've got, these are from a roll of stuff from Dollarama. They come, it's a 2-inch, 3-inch wide roll. So there's different sizes of this stuff on there. So I'm going to take 2 of these, but they're silver. I'll have to switch to silver clips. Do, do, do. Or instead of using those, yeah, let's just using what's on the desk. Use what's on the desk. Again, liquid glue, because they have a bit of a arc to them, so you have to be pretty thick. I'll put that there. I'll put that there. So they're semi-similar. I'm going to get those silver, swap those bulb pins out for silver ones. Again, whatever's on the desk, right? Within hand's reach. Yeah, I'd like to know what you think for Retro Week. Maybe some knitting, quilting, hand quilting. Okay, bulb pin doesn't want to do up. You can also use safety pins. I like using safety pins as well. So then, fast, simple little dangle, little charm. I would use it on macrame. Yeah, macrame's really made a big comeback. Oh, have to turn this just a little bit because it's covering the hole. It's a nice thing about wet glue. It stays wet a while. And with macrame, if we made paper beads to use in it, some driftwood, and then I would use them on, where is my, too much stuff, ladies, too much stuff. Oh, I just had a craft-a-lanche of inchies. Yay! Baby. Tabs. Where are my paper tabs? They're not in here. Ugh. So, as I was saying, I've got 100 subscribers now. Friday, I'm going to do a draw for an envelope of Kimbits. No, they're not there. Okay, I'll use these. No, I will use. Well, I just had them in my hand. Goodness. I have so much stuff. Those. All right. Oh, look at those inches. Well, maybe I'll have lost some and then I don't have to use them, right? So then I'm going to take a green one. I don't think I did two the same. These are from when I was doing the napkins on my construction paper bits. Sure. So then, here we go. I'll make it like a page tab. I'll fold these in half. I will punch a hole towards the bottom using that same thin punch thing. I'll put some glue on, just part of it so that I can put it on the page. Just the very center that will hang over the edge. Limited by your imagination, ladies. Put this through the hole. And now I've made a couple of little dangly page tabs. Pizza. There's a pizza place. Oh, it's alive. There. Cute little page tab with a dangle. Again, I could use, instead of, let's not have glued that down. Come. I ripped it. Okay. I have one page tab. And that one can go in the garbage. That's okay. It was still wet. So it was pizzas and chicken, and it was like a takeout delivery kind of thing. But I've done catering. My neighbor's daughter, when she got married, she asked me to do the cooking, and yeah, I love to cook. I have an inner hag that goes into my kitchen, absolutely destroys the place, and leaves it for me to clean up. So this inner hag will, when there's a good sale on at the grocery store, will stock up, come home, and make burger into all kinds of things to freeze. Yeah, my inner hag. So there. Of course, I could have done this out of paint chip as well. That would have looked really nice, all in a solid color. It would have matched. So there. Page tab. I'm not going to stick it on that page. I don't want it to, this is plastic. It should come off. So yeah, then, you have it hanging over the edge of your page in your journal, and there. Thanks. Fast, simple, again, just stuff. Yeah, permafrost is nice. I've got a nephew that calls it the improv because he never knows what's going to be. Because I don't follow recipes either, right? Like, I just keep adding stuff till my ancestor says that's enough of that. I'll read a recipe and find out what's in it and then do it my way. But yeah. Anyway, this has been over an hour and a half. And I do try and only bore you guys for an hour or whatever. I really appreciate the input and you guys being here. Yeah, so if you're here Friday, that'd be cool. Like I say, I'm doing that draw. I don't know how much of these kinds of things you guys actually use. Oh, thanks, Anne. I try and come up with something that maybe you haven't seen before. There are so many paper crafters out there. We're all doing the same kinds of things. Um, Somebody's obviously done these things in the past. I just throw my own twist on it. You guys have a marvelous day too. Love you all. Take care, and I will see you on Friday. Thanks. Bye. I can't find my mouse. I can't find my cursor. There it is. Bye again. Love you all.